So let's start with our equation. 506 minus 248. 506 is our minuend, and 248 is our subtrahend. The answer we're looking for will be our difference between these two numbers. But since we're estimating, let's use easier numbers to work with. 506 is pretty close to 500. And 248 can be rounded to 250. Now we have some very easy numbers to work with. For now, let's ignore these two zeros. And we're just about 50 and 25. 25 is half of 50. So we know that 50 minus 25 will equal 25. Let's bring this zero back again and see that we have 250. We know that 506 minus 248 will be roughly 250, which is our difference. Let's move on to some strategies to find out our actual difference between these numbers. First, we're going to use the base 10 method. So how this works is we have our visual representation of 506, our minuend. We have 5 flats, which is representative of 500, and we have 6 units, representing our 506. Now we're going to begin subtracting our subtrahend, or the 248, from our 506. First, we're going to look at our hundreds place, our 5 and our 2. This is easy enough. We are simply going to take our 200 away from our 500, leaving us with 300, or 3 flats. Then we're going to move on to our tens place, our 0 and our 4. Now, we can't subtract 4 from 0, so instead we're going to exchange one of our 100 squares, our flats, for 10 rods. This is the same number represented, just exchanged. So instead of a 0, you can say we have 10 or 100 here. So now we can subtract 10 from 4 or 100 from 40. We simply take 4 of our rods away, and we are left with 6 rods, or 60 altogether. So next we can move on to our ones place, which is a 6 and an 8. Again, we can't take 8 away from a 6, so we're going to take one of our rods and exchange it for 10 units. And again, now that our 6 has been changed into a 16, or exchanged, we can now take 8 away from 16. This is going to leave us with 8 units. So to write that out as a number, we have our hundreds place, our tens place, and our ones place. In our hundreds place, we have 2 flats. So we can put 2 here, or 200. In our tens place, we have 5 rods, or 50. We put our 5 here. And finally, in our ones place, we have 8 altogether. So we can put 8 in our ones place. So altogether, we have 2 hundreds, 5 tens, and 8 ones. And together, we have 258. And this is our difference. And that's how you use a base 10 model for a subtraction problem. With the counting back method, we're going to be counting back from 506, or 248, but we're going to be using smaller and easier to use numbers instead of just taking it all away at once. So we're going to count back until we hit 248. Let's start with a simple number and take 200 away. So we can say minus 200, and this will put us at 306. Now we're a lot closer to 248 than we were when we began. Now let's take away our 6 here, so we have an easier number to work with altogether. Now we're at 300, which is an easy number to work with. Now we can take away 50 to get even closer to our subtrahend. So now we're at 250. Finally, we need to do one more small step and take 2 away from 250. And that will give us 248. So we have successfully counted back from 506, our minuend, all the way to our subtrahend, 248. We've also found our difference. As is right now is not very useful to us, so now we need to combine it together using addition and find our difference. So adding up our 6 and our 2 in our ones place, we get 8. Adding up our 0 and 5, we get 5. For our tens place and for our hundreds place, adding up 2, we get 258. This is our difference. That's how you use the counting back method to solve a subtraction problem.